Hello children, in this video we will continue our lesson of Introduction to Algebra and look at the solution of the practice questions. So starting with question number 1, which says there are P cookies in a container. Write an algebraic expression for each of the following. And part A says 15 cookies are added. How many cookies are there in the container? Initially, there were P cookies in the container and now 15 are added. So we can write it as P plus 15. In part B, we have 15 cookies are eaten. How many cookies are left? Now 15 cookies are eaten means that there are no more. So we are going to subtract 15 from the original amount of cookies. So we can write it as P minus 15. Part C says how many cookies are there in 5 such containers. Now we know that in one container there are P number of cookies. If there are 2 containers, then we simply multiply P by 2. Now for 5 containers, we are going to multiply P by 5 and our answer is 5P cookies. Now part D says all the cookies in 5 such containers are put equally into 12 bowls. How many cookies are there in each bowl? Now we know that how many cookies in 5 containers. Let's say if there are 2 bowls, then we are going to divide 5P by 2, and as we know that in each bowl there are 5P cookies. So in 12 bowls, we are simply going to divide 5P by 12. So cookies will be divided equally into 12 bowls. Now in question number 2, we have to write an algebraic expression for each part. Part A says add A to 9. We simply write it as 9 plus A, or we can also write it as A plus 9, because as we have learned in our previous video that in addition it doesn't make any difference, but in subtraction we have to be careful that which entity is subtracting from which entity. So moving to part B, we have to subtract B from 10. Now here we have to subtract B from 10. So 10 comes first and B is going to be subtracted from 10. So the expression will be 10 minus B. In part C, we have to multiply C by 7. So C comes first and then there is a multiplication sign and then 7, and we can write it as 7C. For part D, we have to divide D by 8. So D comes in the numerator and 8 comes in the denominator, and the expressions become D by 8. Now in part E, we have to subtract 12 from twice of E. Now here, first we need to know the expression for the twice of E. Twice means double. So the expression for the twice of E is 2E, because 2 is going to multiply by E. Now we have to subtract 12 from twice of E. So the expression becomes 2E minus 12. In part F, we have to add 2 to 4 times of F. So first we need to derive an expression for 4 times of F, which is 4F, because 4 times of F means 4 is going to multiply with F. Now we have to add 2 to 4 times of F, so we will simply write it as 4F plus 2. For part G, we have to divide the sum of 11 and G by 9. So first we need to know the sum of 11 and G, which is represented as 11 plus G, and now this whole expression is going to be divided by 9 and can be written as bracket 11 plus G bracket close divided by 9. In part each, we have to add 1 to half of each. Half of each is 1 over 2 each, and now we have to add 1 to this expression, so we will simply write it as 1 plus 1 over 2 each. In question number 3, there is a table which describes the number of vehicles in a car park. Find the number of each vehicle in terms of Q. First of all, there are Q motorcycles, so in terms of number, we can write it as M, which represents motorcycle, is equals to Q. Now, in the next step, there are 10 times as many cars as motorcycles. How many cars are there? So we have to represent cars in terms of motorcycles, and there are 10 times as many motorcycles. So we are going to simply multiply 10 with the number of motorcycles, and as we know that the number of motorcycles is represented by Q, so the expression for the cars become 10 multiplied by Q is equals to 10Q. Now there are 3 times as many motorcycles as scooters. How many scooters are there? Now here we have to write in terms of scooters because there are 3 times as many motorcycles as scooters. Means whatever the number of scooters, motorcycles are 3 times more than the scooters. So first we write the expression M is equals to 3S, and now we know that motorcycles are represented by Q, so we replace M by Q. So now we have Q is equals to 3S, but we want to know the number of a scooter, so we simply take 3 to the other side, and as we know that 3 is multiplying by scooter, so when it goes to the other side, it is going to be divided by motorcycles numbers, which is Q. So the final expression is S is equals to Q over 3, which is the number of scooters. Now in the last part, there are 51 more motorcycles than vans. How many vans are there? So first of all, we add 51 in the number of vans, which is represented by V, in order to get the motorcycles, because there are 51 more motorcycles than vans. So whatever the number of vans, 51 is going to be added in it. Now to get the number of vans, we have to subtract 51 from the motorcycles, and as motorcycles are represented by Q, so our final expressions become V is equals to Q minus 51, which is actually the number of vans. So this is the end of the practice question for the lesson Introduction to Algebra. In the next videos, we will cover the further topics. Do like and subscribe my channel. Keep watching. Thank you everyone.